Welcome to MyLITV. From Manhasset to Montauk, we have traveled our communities to bring you the following events. I'm your host, Waldo Cabrera. MyLITV starts now.
Please join me in welcoming author of Melissa Explains It All, Melissa Joan Hart.
Oh, hi. Wow, there's so many of you here. I've been asked a lot to write a book through my life, and I never felt like I was ready. I didn't have enough stories. My life's not done yet. How does it end? So I decided, though, after telling friends certain stories over the years, I was like, you know what, I think I have enough stories, and I was pregnant at the time, couldn't be on camera, so let me just do this now, and while I have some time, and tell the stories that I've lived so far. My children have definitely changed my life. When I was writing it, I was thinking about them towards the end, and I started to get closer to the end of the book and get closer to their chapter. I'm writing about having children, and I was so worried that something was going to happen to me before I could write that. That I was trying to hurry up and finish their chapter before I had a flight I had to take to LA, and I was like, let me finish this chapter before I do that flight, because God forbid something happen and I don't get to their chapter and they never know how I feel about them and that kind of thing. So it started to be something like that, where I wanted to, almost write it like a diary. And but I also really wanted it to appeal to the fans and tell them something about what happened behind the scenes in Clarissa and Sabrina, how I got the job on Clarissa, how I was raised, what it was like working at a young age.
I loved you in 9 Dead. You played such a badass. I loved it.
Thank you, thank you. I've been asked a lot over the years, how did you end up so normal? And that's a really tricky question. The business is full of so much rejection and so much hurt, and if you can't brush that off, you're gonna have to find other escapes, and people unfortunately lean on, I think, drugs and alcohol a little too much in the business to escape their problems. And, sometimes that takes them down a bad path, or the rejection just hurts too much and takes them down a bad path. And a lot of the time you'll have a big success, you'll have one hit show, one hit movie, and you can't, you have this instant fame and all of a sudden you're wanted in Hollywood, but that dives down real quick. It's the kind of business where you climb up the ladder, you do really well, you fall back down, you have to climb back up it again, and you have to do that numerous times. Every character, basically, every role, you're constantly fighting for that role and fighting for that position at the top of the ladder. And if you don't have a thick skin, it's really tough, and I think that some of the, and especially when you're young. The chapter about my mom was probably the one that was the most difficult for me. So I wanted to be honest to the story and to what we've gone through, the struggles we've gone through in our relationship and our lives, but also give her credit for, me being who I am today, raising me and giving birth to me and, being my mom.
Hi there.
When she was 4, she asked to be on TV. So I tried to help her out and actually found an agent, and she booked her very first audition, and it's been a whirlwind since.
With the implosion of all these little starlets from Disney, what's different about Melissa?
Well, I think part of it was being raised in New York and not being in Hollywood and in the Hollywood scene. I think that she really grew up with a more normal life. She went to school, she went to Girl Scouts, she was doing the school play. It wasn't like she was not attending school like a lot of the kids in Hollywood. But then eventually we moved out there and realized that's really where you have to be for the business.
Meeting Melissa Joan Hart, I'm such a huge fan. She was a huge part of my childhood, and it's just so great to be able to actually have that be a reality and not just a TV show.
Very talented, and she's one that stays out of trouble, it seems like, unlike these other stars. They wind up in somewhere you don't want to be.
I saw her upload on Instagram, and I had to come out here. Huge fan of her since I was a little girl. Have all the seasons of Sabrina on DVD.
What was your favorite episode?
The Valentine's Day one with her and Harvey. And they had the matchmaker game. And she had to choose the right Harvey to turn him back into human after she kissed him and he was a frog.